Hey guys, it's Pope and welcome to a vlog all about the split jerk. In the video today, I'm going to be going over the most common mistakes in technique on the split jerk, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about why I do a power jerk and why I don't recommend that you do a power jerk like 95% of the time. And I'm going to demo the correct technique for the split jerk and show some of those common flaws. If you've followed my weightlifting career for several years, you know that I did originally start competing with the split stance on the jerk. And about 3 years into competing, I decided to switch over to the power jerk. And it's a super easy explanation why I did that. I'm just better at the power jerk. I can put more weight over my head using the power stance versus a split. I'm just more stable in that position with the wide feet and not as much with the split. My numbers are pretty close on my PRs of the split and power jerk. I've only got about 2 kilos on my power versus the split, all-time best, but I make more lifts at heavier percentages, like more often on the power stance than a split. Most weightlifters, that is not the case. Almost everyone in weightlifting does a split jerk. There are a few like examples of Olympians and super good weightlifters that do a power or squat jerk, but they are few and far between. So if you're watching this video, take home this message: you probably should be doing a split jerk. There are exceptions, but most people need to do the split. I would recommend learning how to do the split jerk for a long time, like a couple years, and using the power jerk as a supplement exercise. So use that as like an accessory to get your split jerk better, to work on a stronger dip and drive and that overhead solid position. Then you can decide, maybe my power jerk is better if it's developed over time, feeling stronger than your split jerk. But the split jerk takes a long time to master, so don't abandon the split too soon. Give it a solid 2 years at least at practicing the split jerk, and make sure you're not going to be better that way in the long run before you try switching to another stance. Now I'm going to move on to proper technique for the split jerk, and I'm going to do this by talking about the 3 most common flaws in the split jerk. First being the dip and drive, and this can be applicable to a squat or power jerk as well. The dip and drive, first part of the jerk, is, in my opinion, the most important thing that sets you up for success on a jerk that is a white light lift. The first part of the dip and drive that is so important throughout the entire movement is that your core stays engaged. Before you take that momentum into your dip, into the little mini squat, you have to make sure that your abs are locked in. And you do this by taking a big breath and pushing that air into your abdominal region, flexing your abs so that you make sure your body is ready to use that mini squat you're gonna do for the dip and drive. If your abs are loose, you're not gonna be able to hold your upper back nice and tight, and you're gonna end up messing with the bar path. We want the bar path on the dip to be straight up and down, and if your core isn't locked in, you're not gonna be able to do that. Something you've heard me talk about in other lifting videos, I want you to do the same thing on your jerk, is imagine you have a string from the top of your head pulling you straight up and down like a puppet, and that's what you wanna look like during your dip and drive. You wanna keep the crown of your head straight up and down on your dip, and then again on the momentum upward. So you want no forward and backward movement. It's literally like an elevator up and down on the dip and drive. So you get that huge extension and you're able to use your full leg power on the way up to elevate that bar as much as possible. The second area of focus on the split jerk is the split stance itself. The number 1 flaw I see is having the feet too narrow, like you're walking on a tightrope. That is not how you want to do the split stance in the jerk. You often see this in the former gymnast, and myself included. I split like this a lot of the time when I wasn't doing it correctly because we're used to being on a balance beam. That is not how you want your split jerk to look. You want to have your feet hip width distance when you land in that split. Equal distance from where your hip bones are is where you want your feet to hit the floor on that split stance. Another factor on the split stance that is really easy to mess up is not having even weight distribution between the 2 legs. You don't want too much weight on the front leg or too much weight on the back leg, or your center of gravity is going to be off and that weight's not going to end up straight over your head. You want to make sure that both of your leg muscles, both legs right and left, are in play during that split. So you wanna make sure that your hips go straight down after you do your full extension and you have even weight in both feet. The third sector of the jerk is the recovery. A lot of lifters you'll see push that barbell forward and have to run forward out of the jerk because they've made one of those mistakes we talked about earlier, either having the feet too narrow or weight too far forward or backward. But what about when you land it perfectly? How do you want to recover from that? The standard is to push your front foot back forward and then recover your back foot. And we do this because it's really easy to drop the barbell forward if you step forward with the back foot first. So you want to recover with your front foot first, again, to keep that center of gravity right over your head for the barbell. You don't want it to end up in front of your body. You want shoulders, hands, everything right stacked over your hips, over the center of your body. So we do that front foot back first and then the back foot, and keep that core tight, tight, tight while you're recovering. Those are the most common faults found when jerking, and especially split jerking. So hopefully that will give you a good starting place to try and clean up your technique on the jerk. I actually did an Instagram poll for this video on my story to see what you guys wanted me to focus on next for these instructional videos, and the jerk was definitely the highest demand, especially the split jerk. Let me know if you found it helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys in the next video.